Jesus is my life. He's my heart. He's my everything. I was born into a troubled family. My mother and father fought all the time, and then my mother and stepfather fought all the time, and it was very tumultuous. But Jesus, he was very merciful to me. Sometimes he would send like some angels, or somebody would come and get me and take me up. It seemed like it was like a pavilion or something, and I could look over the side and look down on the earth. It felt very peaceful in there. It was almost like they were babysitting me, and it gave me some peace. And he would always answer my prayer. Well, not always, but he answered a lot of my prayers. And when I was troubled, it seemed like he would always comfort me. And I wanted to live life like everybody else did and experience it for myself. But by the time I was 20, I was totally disgusted with life in this world. And I yielded myself and surrendered to Jesus and said, Lord, my life is nothing, but if you want it, it's yours. And a few days later, he filled me with the Holy Spirit, and it was the most wonderful experience of my life. It was so wonderful. He was inside of me. He loved me. I knew he loved me. Someone was with me that really loved me inside of me. And instinctively, I knew where to go and what to do and what not to do. I didn't understand it, but I would know by the witness of the Spirit. And one time when I was praying to him, I was always trying to get a word from him to share with somebody else. And he said, just let me love you. And I saw an angel one time. I was praying, and the angel, he looked up, and he told me to look to the Lord, you know. Anyway, it just took a few months after I got filled with the Holy Spirit for Bible worshipers and churches to mess that relationship up and confuse me. And I was out praying on the desert, Lord, where are you? I can't find you. Where are your people? But my natural mind, in the back of my natural mind, was saying, that sounds nuts. There's probably 600 different churches in that big city that I lived in, but my heart was crying out to him. And then not long after that, an evangelist came through there, and he said, the Bible is an idol. Harlan, of course. And that word went down in me. And I said, this is wonderful. Now I can be restored back to Christ. And I was, be led by the Spirit. And many things happened. He would, one time Jesus appeared to me in a vision, and he shook hands with me, and he said, welcome to the brotherhood. One time I saw him in a vision, and he said, I'm pouring out the living water. And Harlan and I, we went through many things together. And it took many, many years before we could even get this message out. But in 2008 in Colorado, he told me, he said, he gave me a command, and the command was to teach that the Bible is an idol and the Bible is the mark of the beast, so that people can overcome this delusion that Satan put them under to keep them out of the Spirit. And now we've been doing this, and it's very enriching and fulfilling. And all I want to say is Jesus has a living voice. And if you will look to him, you'll have a lot of troubles in this world. Satan and your flesh and everybody else's flesh around you will always fight against you and try to distract you and keep you into the flesh. But Jesus died so that we could be regenerated by the Holy Spirit and have access to God by the Holy Spirit. And this was robbed from us by delusional religion and doctrine and all that. People think you get it through your mind by reading scriptures and just believing in him. Well, I believed in him before I got filled with the Holy Spirit. But after I got filled with the Holy Spirit, I knew him. And until you really know him, you can't be controlled by him, and you can't do his will. If you love him, you'll obey him. And the only way you can obey him is by the Holy Spirit that Christ puts in you. And that's the only way you can be regenerated into a Holy Spirit son or daughter of God. This is a simple thing, but it's very powerful and very important. Just because you believe in Jesus from history, and because you believe some doctrines and quote some scriptures, that will not save you. You must be born again of the Holy Spirit, regenerated, and then led by Jesus through the Holy Spirit. He has a living voice, and he will speak to you, and he will lead you, and he will guide you with visions and dreams and revelations. And if you're born of the Spirit, don't worry, you'll go through troubles, but he will deliver you through all those. So that's the hope that Jesus has for you. That's the hope that I have for you, that you find this wonderful life. And once you know, nobody can tell you any different, and nobody can take it away from you. hang on to Christ, and then pretty soon we'll be with Him forever, and we won't be a part of this evil world.